especially white cops in black communities. Their names alone came to symbolize the issue. Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Tamir Rice.
We scream Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. Yelling, I can't breathe, but they just tighten the noose. Man, this racial injustice got me sick to my stomach. If you act like you don't see it, then you're part of the problem. Everybody want the truth until it's covered in blackness. Man, I've been trying to keep my cool, but now I'm lit up like matches. Touchy topic, y'all get triggered, deflecting the facts and don't want to listen. Taking the truth for a lie, you're twisted, but nevertheless, it'll still get mentioned. Let's go. I can't breathe, hands up, don't shoot. Hey, I can't breathe, hands up, don't shoot. No justice, no peace for every life that you took. We standing up, so stand down. Going out swinging like John Cook. We got way too much to lose, and we got way too much to gain. I look these devils in the eye and say their names double slain. Hey, Sandra Bland, yeah, yeah. Eric Garner, yeah, yeah. Trayvon Martin, yeah, yeah. Stephen Clark, oh yeah. George Floyd, another one. Ezell Ford, another one. Michael Brown, another one. Botham Jean, keep them coming. Pat Brown, the list goes on. Arthur Sterling, the list goes on. Kai Gurley, on and on. Pam Turner, the list goes on. Jordan Edwards, yeah, yeah. Aaron Bailey, yeah, yeah. Chris Davis, we ain't done. Breonna Taylor, keep going. Tamir Rice, yeah, yeah. Freddie Gray, yeah, yeah. Mark Davis, yeah, yeah. It's King Salad. Hold up, they done took a lot of souls, but don't nobody wanna talk about it. Dark skin is like a bullseye, but those days are over, cause the dark night rises. Y'all about to get this work, spazzing out, going berserk, God's chosen people are dispersed at every single corner of the earth. They say all lives matter, and I don't disagree, but the way they killing blacks, that don't sound right to me. Look, if all lives matter, why does it seem like we are the target? Get pulled over, put us in custody, no weapon in hand, but you kill us regardless. We scream Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. Yelling, I can't breathe, but they just tighten the noose. Man, this racial injustice got me sick to my stomach. If you act like you don't see it, then you're part of the problem. Everybody want the truth until it's covered in blackness. Man, I've been trying to keep my cool, but now I'm lit up like matches. Touchy topic, y'all get triggered, deflecting the facts and don't want to listen. Taking the truth for a lie, you're twisted, but nevertheless, it'll still get mentioned. Let's go. I can't breathe, hands up, don't shoot. Hey, I can't breathe, hands up, don't shoot. No justice, no peace for every life that you took. We standing up, so stand down. Going out swinging like John Cook. We got way too much to lose, and we got way too much to gain. I look these devils in the eye and say their names double slain. Hey, Sandra Bland, yeah, yeah. Eric Garner, yeah, yeah. Trayvon Martin, yeah, yeah. Stephen Clark, oh yeah. George Floyd, another one. Ezell Ford, another one. Michael Brown, another one. Botham Jean, keep them coming. Pat Brown, the list goes on. Arthur Sterling, the list goes on. Kai Gurley, on and on. Pam Turner, the list goes on. Jordan Edwards, yeah, yeah. Aaron Bailey, yeah, yeah. Chris Davis, we ain't done. Breonna Taylor, keep going. Tamir Rice, yeah, yeah. Freddie Gray, yeah, yeah. Aaron Davis, yeah, yeah. India Kager.
I got rage in my heart, pain in my soul, from watching them killing my people like every day, and it's getting old. I can breathe for now, at least for the time being. So many turn a blind eye to all this hate that we keep seeing, and they keep locking up these black men so prisons get that loot. But I'm a messenger, just speaking the truth, got my hands up.
Don't shoot.
Yeah, when a black man takes a life, he's sentenced to prison and doing a bid. But when a cop kills, he get to go back home and he can be with his wife and his kids. 2020 got me seeing clearly, but we really don't know what to do. I can't call the cops if I got a problem, they'll probably shoot me too. Cause the police kill citizens all the time and they face no prosecution. And that document wasn't meant for us, talking about that Constitution. At the end of the Pledge of Allegiance, it promises liberty and justice for all. But in reality, it appears to be that it's liberty and justice for y'all. No justice, no peace, that's what you're gonna hear till the battle's through. Cause all lives can't matter unless Black Lives Matter too. Let's go.
I can't breathe, hands up, don't shoot. Hey, I can't breathe, hands up, don't shoot. No justice, no peace for every life that you took. We standing up, so stand down. Going out swinging like John Cook. We got way too much to lose, and we got way too much to gain. I look these devils in the eye and say their names double slain. Hey, Sandra Bland, yeah, yeah. Eric Garner, yeah, yeah. Trayvon Martin, yeah, yeah. Stephen Clark, oh yeah. George Floyd, another one. Ezell Ford, another one. Michael Brown, another one. Botham Jean, keep them coming. Pat Brown, the list goes on. Arthur Sterling, the list goes on. Kai Gurley, on and on. Pam Turner, the list goes on. Jordan Edwards, yeah, yeah. Aaron Bailey, yeah, yeah. Chris Davis, we ain't done. Breonna Taylor, keep going. Tamir Rice, yeah, yeah. Freddie Gray, yeah, yeah. Aaron Davis, yeah, yeah. India Kager.
And speaks with Fox Station WSVN from his hospital bed, recounting what he told that officer.
And I'm telling him again, sir, there's no need for a firearm. I'm unarmed. You
He's an artistic guy. He had a toy truck in his hand. When he hit me, I'm like, I still got my hands in the air. I said, no, I just got shot. And I'm standing there, I'm like, sir, why did you shoot me? And his words to me, he said, I don't know.
Shalom, family. I'm on two platforms, Rumble and YouTube. So let me get on into it. First, I'm gonna show y'all the so-called Just Us Department's video, and then I'm gonna show you why it's nothing really. Okay, they're still trying to manipulate and control justice. What justice is for us. All right. Now I know that there is not going to be no justice until the Most High demolish the whole earth. I know that. And I also am wise enough to know we perish for a lack of knowledge. If your house is on fire and you in bed sleep, you are not safe because you do not know that the house is on fire and you're in the bed sleep. Okay? You need to know these things. You need to know that what kind of danger you're in. You need to know the depths that these heathens are thinking in and the lows that they will stoop to and the things that they allow because they is dedicated on trying to wipe out the nation of Israel. If you look up on the screen now, that El Gabor, that's in pictograph Hebrew, and then it's a combination of Paleo Hebrew and English. Mighty warrior of the Most High. In case y'all didn't know, that ain't no devil sign. That's pictograph Hebrew. Devil gets no praise over here. Well, let me show y'all what I got. All right. Shalom to everybody. I can't see y'all comments on Rumble. Well, I got my phone. All right. I can't see your comments, but if I don't see you, don't get, I've got about four screens over here, and then I got to focus on the message. The message got to be relayed properly. It's got to be articulated. So that's my primary function. Articulation. All right? Relayed properly. It's got to be articulated. So that I can close this out. All right. All right now. Yeah. I thank the Most High for my wife helping me with these thumbnails. Yes, sir. All praise to you, Lynette Yard. Thank you, baby. I'm glad you're feeling better. Let me get to the Justice Department. Right here. All right. Let me show this first.
Earlier today, I spoke with the family of Breonna Taylor. This morning, they were informed that the Justice Department has charged 4 current and former Louisville Metro Police Department officers with federal crimes related to Ms. Taylor's death. Those alleged crimes include civil rights offenses, unlawful conspiracies, unconstitutional use of force, and obstruction offenses.
They knew this from the rip. They knew this from the door. I knew. Shalom, Brother Amos. I just not got your text message this morning. I just not saw it. But you're welcome to come up. Just let me know. All right. They knew this ahead of time. And your average white folks out here is complicit with the garbage. I'm going to call them out. I don't act like everything cool when it's not. They complicit with it. All right, shalom.
The 4 defendants were charged through 2 separate indictments and 1 information. I'm going to begin today by discussing the civil rights offenses that stem from the falsification of a search warrant. We allege that these offenses resulted in Ms. Taylor's death. These charges focus on the conduct of the Louisville Metro Police Department.
I tell y'all what, anybody else want to come up, I'll put the link in the chat and you can come up. Just stay on topic. Let's just stay on topic first. All right. Now at the end of the lesson, if you got a question, ask your question at the end. But if anybody want to come up, you're going to have to show your face. If I don't know you, if I ain't been seeing you in here, you're going to have to show your face. All right. Just come on up. Anybody got anything they want, they point of view.
Place-based investigations unit. In the first indictment filed today, we allege that in early 2020, that unit was investigating suspected drug trafficking in the west end of Louisville. On March 12, 2020, officers from that unit sought 5 search warrants they claimed were related to the suspected drug trafficking. 4 of those warrants targeted properties in the West End where that activity was allegedly occurring. A 5th search warrant was for Breonna Taylor's home, which was approximately 10 miles away from the West End. The federal charges announced today allege that members of the Place-Based Investigations Unit falsified the affidavit used to obtain the search warrant of Ms. Taylor's home, that this act violated federal civil rights laws, and that those violations resulted in Ms. Taylor's death. Specifically, we allege that Ms. Taylor's Fourth Amendment right.
Now, the police do things all the time that violate the civil rights laws. They do things all the time to violate constitutional right. They do this all the time. So, all right, let me go back. Let me focus in on this.
David used to obtain the search warrant of Ms. Taylor's home, that this act violated federal civil rights laws, and that those violations resulted in Ms. Taylor's death. Specifically, we allege that Ms. Taylor's Fourth Amendment rights were violated when defendants Joshua Janes, Kyle Meany, and Kelly Goodlatte sought a warrant to search Ms. Taylor's home knowing that the officers lacked probable cause for the search. We allege that the defendants knew the affidavit in support of that warrant contained false and misleading information and that it omitted material information. Among other things, the affidavit falsely claimed that officers had verified that the target of the alleged drug trafficking operation had received packages at Ms. Taylor's address. In fact, defendants Janes and Goodlatte knew that was not true. We further allege that defendants Janes and Meany knew the search warrant would be carried out by armed LMPD officers and that conducting that search could create a dangerous situation for anyone who happened to be in Ms. Taylor's home. As outlined in the charging documents, the officers who ultimately carried out the search at Ms. Taylor's apartment were not involved in the drafting of the warrant and were unaware of the false and misleading statements it contained. When those officers executed the search warrant, Ms. Taylor was at home with another person who was in lawful possession of a handgun. When officers broke down the door to Ms. Taylor's apartment, that person, believing that intruders were breaking in, immediately fired one shot, hitting the first officer at the door.
If you don't know who's busting in your house, this is especially to you men, and some of you women that can accept it. But men, I keep asking you, at what point are you willing to die for? At what point? See, a lot of us brothers are out here, myself included. We was willing to kill our own brothers over some colors. But we ain't got no smoke for the real threat. Now all of a sudden, we scared and we don't know what it's like to be a warrior. All of a sudden. But as long as it was other black folks, we was ready to kill them all. Now, I'm approaching half a century. I feel like I done lived long enough at the most I see fit, but I'm not going to jump the gun and get myself unjustly or killed outside of his will. I now understand why I had a battle of fighting with suicide. Now I understand. It helps me to be less likely to preserve myself. My battle of suicide came with the death of loved ones of mine. I didn't want to live because they wasn't living. But nevertheless,
2 officers immediately fired a total of 22 shots into the apartment. One of those shots hit Ms. Taylor in the chest and killed her. We allege that the defendants knew their actions in falsifying the affidavit could create a dangerous situation, and we allege these unlawful acts resulted in Ms. Taylor's death. The charges announced today also allege that the officers responsible for falsifying the affidavit that led to the search took steps to cover up their unlawful conduct after Ms. Taylor was killed. We allege that defendants Janes and Goodlett conspired to knowingly falsify an investigative document that was created after Ms. Taylor's death. We also allege that they conspired to mislead federal, state, and local authorities who were investigating the incident. For example, we allege that in May 2020, those two defendants met in a garage where they agreed to tell investigators a false story. This indictment separately alleges that defendant Meany lied to the FBI during its investigation of this matter. Another indictment filed today alleges that after Ms. Taylor was shot, another LMPD officer, defendant Brett Hankison, moved from the doorway to the side of her apartment and fired 10 more shots through a window and a sliding glass door, both of which were covered with blinds and curtains. Defendant Hankison has been charged with 2 civil rights offenses, alleging that he willfully used unconstitutionally excessive force while acting in his official capacity as an officer. Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clarke will speak more about that aspect of the case. As in any case, the charges we announced today are allegations, and all defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Before I close, I want to thank Assistant Attorney General Clarke, her team in the Civil Rights Division, and the case agents at the FBI for their tireless work on this case. We share, but we cannot fully imagine, the grief felt by Breonna Taylor's loved ones and all of those affected by the events of March 13th, 2020. Breonna Taylor should be alive today. The Justice Department is committed to defending and protecting the civil rights of every person in this country. That was this department's founding purpose, and it remains our urgent mission. Attorney General Clarke.
Okay, a big old nothing burger. A nothing burger. Like you said, Brother Sly, no murder charges. Stop voting for these heathens. All right? Stop voting for these devils. Stop voting for them. And when they put a Negro, when you see a Negro come out of nowhere, don't nobody know nothing about, you watch that Negro extra hard. You put him under the microscope, the telescope, whatever kind of scope you can get your hands on. You got to earn your keep. We don't give away nothing around here. We ain't giving away no trust. Them days is over with. Them days is over with. All right. Now, let me show you a visual of what they done so you can get a more accurate. I'll come back to that later. Oh, yeah. How many of y'all remember? How many of y'all remember that they said that the postmaster said that Breonna Taylor was having drugs delivered to her house? Do any of y'all remember that? Matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up. Just hold on. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to have to switch computers over here. Let me see. Okay, let me show y'all the articles. They got all kind of lies going on. What? There's, okay, let me show y'all. Hold on. I'm trying something. I ain't never tried to. Okay, yeah, it'll work. Right here. Yeah. Right here. Hold on. Louisville Postal Inspector. No packages of interest at slain EMT Breonna Taylor's home. See, these devils do anything, and then you got the white supremacist media going right along with it. Right along with their white brothers and sisters. Yeah. If you don't like being thrown in the same pot with our enemies, stop acting like our enemies. Stop being. It's not our job to figure out which one of these snakes is going to bite us and which one is poisonous. I see a snake and I treat them all the same. It's not our job. If you don't know who your allies are, then that's a strong indicator that they are an adversary, they are an enemy. That's a strong indicator. When the United States military go into other countries, them devils kill men, women, and children. They don't sit back and then justify it. Now, we can't operate in that. We can't operate like that. The Most High will hold us accountable and he will punish us. But I'm just showing you the hypocrisy, how white folks expect us to go through all these people and try to figure out which one is friend and which one is foe. I don't have to worry about that. I'm not trying to kill you no way. As long as you keep that mess out of our sight, y'all pretty much safe. Europeans, y'all pretty much safe. As long as y'all keep that mess over there where you at, y'all pretty much safe. Y'all ain't got to worry about us going door to door. Not those of us who's living right, trying to kill off y'all. The Most High is not going to support us in that. Read your Bible. All right? But nevertheless, they don't say nothing when they go to Japan and drop a bomb on innocent civilians that had nothing to do with the war. They don't say nothing. They don't say nothing when they come across the oceans, colonizing and killing off all the men, women, and children. They don't say nothing. They didn't try to differentiate. Oh, this is a woman. This is, this harmless. This is a child, harmless. They don't do that. But yet, when I speak like I speak, when I draw the line and stand on it, they act like they can't believe what they're hearing. And at the same time, with the same eyes, we don't see y'all. But let me show y'all. I'm going to click on this video. I don't know what it says. I just pulled it up. Let me hit the, let me see if I'm getting the volume. Hold on. Any volume? No, it ain't playing. Hold on. I'm going to have to mute something. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to have to mute over here.
March 13th, he said that.
Yes. Check. All right. That's one thing about trying different things. Let me see here. All right, hold on. Let me share my screen. Ain't no tiptoeing through the Tulips, family. They're not tiptoeing. They marching and stomping.
Her death is now getting national attention. LMPD's investigation into the raid that killed Breonna Taylor expected to be handed over to the feds soon. WDRB's Kristen Shanahan spoke to an attorney representing her family about his concerns with how the case is being handled.
Breonna Taylor's story is being shared across the country.
I'm so grateful for all the outreach and all the support, and so is the family.
Attorney Sam Aguiar is one of the lawyers representing Taylor's family. He says before all the public outcry, he asked Mayor Greg Fisher to have the Department of Justice investigate the case. But LMPD's Public Integrity Unit is first looking at it.
To turn an investigation over internally to a department that is comprised of officers that have worked side by side with the officers they're investigating is biased. It's partial.
Aguiar says the 26-year-old ER tech and former decorated EMT was killed in a botched LMPD drug raid March 13th. He says when officers busted inside her apartment, Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, shot at police thinking they were intruders. Police returned fire, killing Taylor. Taylor has no criminal record and nothing illegal was found in her home.
I guess what frustrates me the most is that right now what we're seeing are reactive changes to public, in response to public sentiment.
Mayor Fisher says LMPD's report will be handed over to the FBI, U.S. Attorney, and Kentucky's Attorney General for review.
The community first needs to think the investigation is credible, and that's why we're taking these additional steps.
WDRB asked Fisher if he is confident in the department and chief.
I think in terms of what's important to focus on right now, I'm just not going to be drawn into that question. That's not going to help us with the pandemic. It's not going to help us get through this case right now.
Once LMPD hands over its case, it will be up to Kentucky's Attorney General to decide whether or not to file charges. Reporting from Louisville, Kristen Shanahan, WDRB News.
And a U.S. postal inspector in Louisville said today that Metro Police did not use his office to verify that a drug suspect was receiving packages at Taylor's apartment. He also said no packages of interest were found when a different agency asked them to look into it back in January.
Okay. So they lied and said that they were getting packages. See, these folks try to do anything to criminalize us, but yet they got the world record for criminalization. Who holds the record of going continent to continent, mass murdering men, women, and children? Who has the record? Who has the record of mass theft? Who has the record of mass rape? Who has the record of mass production of lies and propaganda through the media? I don't have to say what race it is because everybody know the history. That's why they fighting like hell to make it illegal to tell the truth about their own history. Lying. See, if these folks can get away with busting up in people's houses and nothing happened, y'all might as well get ready. You might as well get ready. If they start busting up in folks' houses, I don't care if you don't like the brother or sister. I don't care if there is a coon. You ain't got a cape for them, but no. If they can bust up in anybody's house and nothing happened, you might as well pick a number and start and get in line and wait your turn. That's the dangers of this. Shalom, Mikael, you know you got the flow. That's the point. All right, look. The feds, they were talking about turning this case over in 2020, and they just not doing something. Now let me show you the visual optics of what they did wrong. All right.
Do not walk by yourself. This is our city. This is our town.
For months in Kentucky, residents outraged by the...
And just for future references, and I hope it don't happen, but the chance is likely that it will happen again. If something happened and black folks started to get together, if y'all don't know these white folks, get them out the mix. Get them away from us. If you don't know them, if you can't speak, if you can't vouch for them, get away from them. A lot of these devils ain't doing nothing but spying. And if you know somebody's a coon and a sellout, point them out.
Killing of Breonna Taylor, campaigned for the police officers who shot her to face charges.
Let me be clear. It was white folks marching right alongside of black folks. I've seen the video. The white folks starting the ruckus and the police giving the police an excuse to come in. No, I don't believe that marching gonna do anything. No, I don't. But even Moses went to Pharaoh and petitioned Pharaoh. So I look at it differently. I look at it differently. Okay? If it ain't nothing but bearing witness against their ignoring of the facts, of the truth.
Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Brett Hankison.
In September, a grand jury investigation indicted one officer for shooting into a neighboring apartment and no one for killing Taylor.
Is that the decision of the grand jury? I will grant the motion and assign bond in the amount.
The officer got indicted for shooting into the next door, a white person's apartment. Okay. Where your white representative? Where your white governors at? Where your white church members at? Where they at? Huh? Where are they? Where your white church folks at? At any point, where are they? Where are they getting together with the black so-called church if y'all worshiping the same God? Where they getting together to go to City Hall? See, a lot of white church members got a lot of sway in politics, especially down here. Where they at? Stop worrying about what white folks got going on. What they got going on is oppression. That's what they got going on.
In September, a grand jury investigation indicted one officer for shooting into a neighboring apartment and no one for killing Taylor.
Is that the decision of the grand jury? I will grant the motion and assign bond in the amount of $15,000 full cash and issue a warrant.
Is that it? Is that the only charge? What about the other? It can't be it. It can't be. No one has been held accountable. This is injustice, and this is a start clock for the next level of our protest.
What happened in the final minutes of Breonna Taylor's life? A full telling of that story has been impeded because none of the 7 police officers who raided her apartment used body cameras, a violation of police policy. But with the recent release of thousands of documents and images collected during 3 investigations, the Times initiated a fresh examination of the case. We used crime scene photos to create a precise model of Taylor's apartment. We forensically mapped out and retraced the first bullet fired by Taylor's boyfriend and the 32 bullets that police shot in return through windows, walls, and ceilings. Using interviews officers gave to investigators, we charted their movements as they carried out the raid. And we analyzed hours of 911 calls, grand jury proceedings, and footage by the SWAT team that arrived after the shooting.
Man, can you hear us?
Members of the grand jury have accused Kentucky's Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, of shielding the officers involved from homicide charges.
Our investigation found that Mattingly and Cosgrove were justified in their use of force.
Boom, 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 boom. Sergeant Mattingly may have been justified in returning fire when he's fired upon. But our new analysis paints a more complicated picture about how this raid was compromised from beginning to end. We'll outline the flawed intelligence and tactical mistakes of a hodgepodge team of officers, their failure to properly announce their presence at Taylor's.
Now, if the journalist company, what is this? The Times, the New York Times, you see all that stuff they're doing, that is forensic work. That's police work, family. You see how they can give you a visual of what happened? They put in some work. Now, I want y'all to remember all this stuff when next time you see one of your brothers or sisters mysteriously dead and they tell you it's a suicide, get your own crew together. Okay, if it's your family member, it ought to be enough love in your heart for your own family member, if they died, to get there, everybody get out there and start recording. Everybody get out there with some sandwich bags, some bags, and start bagging and tagging. Some markers. Start videotaping the layout. Get you, try to fill out some Freedom of Information Act. Try to get some cell phone records, pings on that tower. Yeah. It should be enough love. If one of your family members come up hanging or dead, it should be enough love in your heart for that family member to get out here and go out there with a videotape. I don't care if you got to miss work or whatever it is you got to do. Go out here with some cameras. Go out here with some, still shots, some sandwich bags, Ziploc bags. Start looking for some evidence, looking for some video cameras around, even the video cameras at intersections. What you think they got video cameras at these intersections for? Taking pictures of cars. If a crime go off, they want to see which way they went. They want time stamp. So the case is open and shut. But when it's us, they don't. The cameras ain't working, and the police can't solve the crime. Chicago.
The chaos and excessive use of force that ensued.
Okay, there's another hole right below the clock.
And we'll explore the damning analysis of an experienced SWAT commander who was called to the scene after the shooting.
We got the feeling that night that something really bad happened.
The focus of the police investigation on March 13th is not Taylor's apartment, but properties 10 miles away in West Louisville.
Local Metro Police.
Hands behind your back, boss.
We're executing a search warrant. Come out.
Where dozens of SWAT and police officers arrest an ex-boyfriend of Taylor's and his associates and seize evidence including drugs. These officers are wearing their body cameras and they carry out the raid safely and without incident. What the SWAT team doesn't know is that at this time, a hastily assembled team of narcotics officers is about to raid Taylor's home across town. They suspect her ex-boyfriend keeps cash or drugs there, but their intel is poor. They don't know she has a new boyfriend and they think she lives alone.
Okay, now this is the white media caping for the criminals. They don't give you another alternative like when it's us. They don't give you a possibility, anything that might leave any doubt to your innocence or your criminality. They don't do that. But when it's police, listen. Now, how is it another group of people going together and raid and don't nobody else know about it? That's some training day mess. That's some Denzel Washington mess. Crooked police. I got some more video for you.
And without incident. What the SWAT team doesn't know is that at this time, a hastily assembled team of narcotics officers is about to raid Taylor's home across town. They suspect her ex-boyfriend keeps cash or drugs there, but their intel is poor. They don't know she has a new boyfriend, and they think she lives alone. When 7 officers begin the raid at 12:40 a.m., they notice the lights are off, except for the flicker of a TV in a bedroom.
The light on the bedroom, the TV. I remember seeing it lit up blue when we pulled up.
Suggesting they know where Taylor is. In less than 3 minutes, she would be fatally shot. Inside, Taylor had dozed off while watching a movie with her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. Adjacent is the bedroom of Taylor's sister, but she's not home. A hallway from the bedrooms leads to a living area, and the apartment's entrance is in this breezeway. The only light is this lamp opposite her door, where now the police begin to stack. In this reconstruction, we hear the official testimonies given by the 2 officers nearest the door, Mattingly and Nobles, Cosgrove, who's providing cover, and Hoover and Hankinson beside them. And we'll hear from neighbors and Kenneth Walker, who was interviewed by police right after the shooting.
When we all got up in line, I knocked on the door, banged on it.
Just as Mattingly begins to knock, a man emerges from the apartment directly above. He doesn't live there, but is picking up his child after finishing work.
The door.
Now, why is he picking up his gun? Somebody going out to see what's going on in their neighborhood, in their where they live at. Why is he picking up a gun when somebody's coming out to see what's going on? You got a bunch of folks that has not announced themselves. Huh? Okay.
Right there, that's why I'm the babysitter on this. So I came to pick up my little girl.
A squabble with Detective Brett Hankinson ensues, and already the team seems on edge.
I remember Brett extending his gun saying, "Get back in your apartment, get back in your apartment." Brett was a little bit worked up. I remember looking at Brett saying, Brett, relax. Brett, just relax, relax. The man retreats inside. The police are supposed to be conducting a knock and announce raid, but that's not what Mattingly says happens at first. We didn't announce the first couple because our intent was to give her plenty of time to come to the door. Inside, Taylor wakes up.
So it's a loud bang at the door.
Now, yeah, I pre-watched the video. They didn't knock and announce themselves, so they will give her plenty of time to come to the door. Okay, listen closely. Later on, you're gonna see they enter at 40 seconds. Who in the bed can get up and figure out what's going on in 40 seconds? Just listen for the 40 seconds. All right, now, listen at his live first.
Edge. I remember Brett extending his gun saying, "Get back in your apartment, get back in your apartment." Brett was a little bit worked up. I remember looking at Brett saying, "Brett, relax. Brett, just relax, relax." The man retreats inside. The police are supposed to be conducting a knock and announce raid, but that's not what Mattingly says happens at first. We didn't announce the first couple because our intent was to give her plenty of time to come to the door. Inside, Taylor wakes up.
So it's a loud bang at the door. She pops up out of her sleep. It scared her to death. Me too. Like, who is that?
Banged on the door, no response. Banged on it again, no response. At that point, we started announcing ourselves. Whether the police announce themselves clearly enough is a critical issue in this story that we'll return to later on. Not knowing who's at the door this late, Walker grabs his licensed handgun.
Another knock at the door. She's like, who is it? Loud at the top of her lungs. No response. So I'm like, what the heck?
They rush to get dressed and walk toward the door.
We never even made it like mid-hallway. But as loud as we were screaming to say who it is, I know whoever would be on the other side of the door could hear us.
Outside, some of the police do hear Taylor.
I can hear somebody inside. I kept telling John, I can hear her.
But after knocking and waiting for around 45 seconds, they decided they've given her enough time to respond and rammed the door open.
The last time, I just said, let's just hit it. And that's when we did the, police search warrant.
We'll show here what the police and Walker describe seeing next.
And I hit it. After the third hit, it flew open. And that's when it hit the fan.
As we're coming to the door like comes off the hinges like an explosion.
The officers now make a tactical mistake. Mattingly steps into the doorway and puts himself in what police describe as the fatal fall.
Now, men folk, use this as a learning experience. Your wife need to stay back where it's safe at, on the floor. On the floor. She don't need to be going to the door with you. All right, let's use this as a learning curve. She don't need to be she don't never need to go to the door with you unless she got a gun and ready to put in some work. If you don't know what's going on, you keep your wife down safe, somewhere safe away from windows and doors. All right, use this as a learning experience.
Funnel, a position vulnerable to gunfire and hard to move from.
I could see down the hallway, and there's the male and a female side by side, shoulder to shoulder. It almost like they were together.
The apartment is lit only by the breezeway light that's coming from behind Mattingly and the faint glare of the TV in Taylor's bedroom.
You can't see anybody, though. It was dark. There was no lights.
Thinking it's an intruder, Walker aims low, shoots once, and hits Matt.
Y'all get y'all some cameras. Get you some cameras. Get you some cameras. All right. Get you some doorbell cameras. Just you spend money on everything. We spend money on everything else. That'll help you access what's outside on the other side of that door. If you got children, same thing. Down on the floor, away from any windows and doors. They throw a flash grenade in there. These white supremacist devils got flash grenades. You're going to be coughing and choking. You're going to raise up, then they're going to shoot you. But nevertheless, away from windows and doors. Bullets ricochet. All right? Yeah. Motion sensors. That's right. That's right.
Mattingly in the thigh.
I feel like I aimed down because I wasn't, of course, I don't need to kill anybody. So I just let off one shot.
Mattingly immediately returns fire.
I got 4 rounds off, and it was like boom, 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 boom.
Then all of a sudden, there's a whole lot of shots.
Mattingly fires 2 more rounds when he falls and takes cover. Almost at the same time, Cosgrove moves in and fires, stepping on Mattingly in the process. He has now also put himself in the fatal funnel, and although he's shooting, he appears to have no idea what's happening.
I see blinding, vivid white light and blackness at the same time. I don't hear any gunfire at all ever, and I did not have any pain sensation or any recollection that I'm firing.
He continues shooting blindly until he runs out of ammunition, a total of 16 rounds.
If you told me I didn't fire a gun, I'd be like, okay, I believe you.
In response to Walker's shot, Mattingly and Cosgrove together fire 4 shots into a chair, cupboards, and a stove in the kitchen. 2 bullets go into the ceiling and pass through the living room in the apartment above.
Now, what if her sister happened to not be there that night? What if there's kids in the house? What if you got children in the house? What they telling you, family, they don't give a damn who in your house. They don't care. They don't care. That's what they telling you. Watch how they raise white folks versus how they raise when black folks living there. They don't care.
Where the man, his 2-year-old daughter, and a babysitter waited. 3 more shots go into the living room wall to the right. And the officers fire 13 rounds down the hallway where Taylor and Walker stood. Taylor is shot 6 times on both sides of her body, in the abdomen and chest, her arm and leg, and twice in her foot. In all, these 2 officers fired 22 rounds in less than a minute. An FBI ballistics report found that both of them shot Taylor, and that one of the 16 rounds Cosgrove fired was the lethal bullet.
We both dropped to the ground, but I just hear her screaming, knowing.
Thinking they're under attack, some of the officers flee when they hear a pause in shooting.
There was a little bitty moment of no shots. I was like, here's the time to go. And then it all started up again.
We don't know the precise sequence of events, but Detective Hankinson runs to the front.
I can hear the firing as I'm making the corner. I can see the flashes, the muzzle flashes.
But the only ones shooting are police. Even though all the curtains are drawn, Hankinson blindly fires 5 bullets through the patio windows.
My only option was to return fire, and I did that to the muzzle flashes.
He moves and fires 5 more rounds through the bedroom window of Taylor's sister, who isn't home. 2 bullets fly over Walker.
Y'all hear that? He can't even see what he's shooting at. He don't know who in there. He don't care. I'm telling y'all. And the fact that it took them this long to even act like they're doing something. Tells you that they don't care about us at all. Now watch how they'll wait for hours when it's a white person with a gun that's actively shooting them. They will wait for hours. They will wait they will sit back and scope and wait and get your pattern as to when you come out the house before they even raid your house. That's when you're white. They'll wait. They'll look for the best time to catch you. Make sure you ain't got time to get off no shots when you're white. Or they'll sit back and wait and bring food. Even if you're in an active shootout, when you're white. When it's black, all stop. They'll just go, shoot, and hope you kill somebody by their actions. I'm going by their actions. That's what their actions speak louder than words. Watch when they raid with somebody white versus black.
Walker and Taylor, but none hits them. The bullets that go into the living area pass over Taylor's sofa and kitchen table and smash her clock. 3 penetrate the wall and enter her neighbor's apartment. Those bullets also smash the kitchen table.
Okay, that's what the officer got indicted for. His bullets went into the neighbor's apartment. Okay, so the safety of the neighbors is more important than Breonna's sister or other kids that might have been in the apartment. Huh? The neighbors are white, by the way. So because the bullets went out of Breonna's apartment and went into the white folks' house, we got to bring some charges on you. Just listen.
2 bullets fly over Walker and Taylor, but none hits them. The bullets that go into the living area pass over Taylor's sofa and kitchen table and smash her clock. 3 penetrate the wall and enter her neighbor's apartment. Those bullets also smash the kitchen table, hit a wall, and shatter the patio doors at the rear. A pregnant woman, her son and partner were home. Hankinson has been charged with wantonly endangering their lives. In total, the police fired 32 bullets, penetrating almost every room in Taylor's apartment. They hit saucepans, cereal boxes, and smash into her shower. They puncture shoes, shatter cleaning equipment, and land in her sister's clothing. And 3 minutes after police came to search her home, a fatally wounded Taylor is lying on the ground.
I'm just panicking and I'm telling somebody, I'm yelling help because she's right here bleeding and nobody's coming, and I'm just confused and scared, and I feel the same right now. That's it.
Months later, when Attorney General Daniel Cameron presented the charges against Hankinson and said that Mattingly and Cosgrove's actions were justified, he emphasized that police did properly announce themselves.
Evidence shows that officers both knocked and announced their presence at the apartment.
But actually, the evidence is far from clear. In 911 calls immediately after the shooting, Taylor's neighbors don't know police are carrying out a raid.
Please get a police out here.
Now, the neighbors don't even know the police is out there. So how is Breonna them getting up out the bed? How are they supposed to know who is that beating at, banging at the door? Huh? Let me find this next. I'm gonna be looking for this next video where they stealing money. All right.
They are shooting bad. Something's going on next door, and there's bullet holes all the way through the wall, through our glass. I have a 5-year-old in here, so something needs to be explained to me.
And in statements police took afterwards, none of Taylor's neighbors heard the officers announce. This apartment's patio door was open.
I mean, I was completely unaware that it was cops.
2 teenagers in this apartment heard a commotion, but didn't hear police announce through their open window, their mom said.
They told me that nothing was said, that they just beat on the door. I said, so y'all don't know if it was them? She was like, they didn't say nothing. They just beat on the door.
And the family who lived directly above Taylor also heard nothing.
Before the gunshots come out, did you hear anything?
Conversations or anything like that, people talking? No.
In their statements and in interviews with The Times, over a dozen neighbors say they did not hear the police. Attorney General Cameron's assertion rests on the accounts of police officers and a single witness, Aaron Sarpy, the man collecting his daughter that night and who saw the police when he came outside. In his first interview with investigators, Sarpy was asked what he heard when he went back inside.
Did you ever hear anyone identify themselves as police? No, nobody identified themselves.
Months later, he told police his memory was foggy, but that he thought officers did announce. And beyond what the police said, this critical grand jury conclusion rested on his entirely inconsistent account. After the raid, the scene outside is chaos. Officers tend to Mattingly, but an ambulance that had been staging nearby is nowhere to be found.
Okay, so ain't nobody gonna tend to Breonna though. See, where the good white folks at? I'm asking a question. Where the good white folks at? I know all of them ain't bad, but it's not my job. It's not your job to try to find the good ones. You're going to be dead trying to find the good white folks. Where they at?
Give me the radio with SWAT on it.
They radio the SWAT officers across town.
Where the good cops at? Where the good cops at? Huh?
EMS on Springfield.
Who are surprised by the call.
We're Springfield. They're requesting armor down there. We're going to go ahead and take it. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
They head for Taylor's address.
It's an apartment.
I didn't know they were in that.
As SWAT arrives, close to 40 police vehicles are already at the scene. Around this time, Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, is being arrested.
He's been hit by a bullet. That's unfortunate. Keep walking backwards.
Hey, come on, we need to get moving. There might be a victim inside.
Keep walking.
Now, I will give that police his. He must not be totally corrupt. Might be a victim inside. Okay. It might be hope for him. Or he might be saying it because it's on camera. Don't forget, they say stuff just because they know the camera's on.
That's unfortunate. Keep walking backwards.
Hey, come on, we need to get moved because there might be a victim inside. Keep walking backward. You're scared, right? Walk back, I don't send this dog. Walk back to me.
Walker had called 911 and neighbors had heard his pleas for help.
You want to fucking prison, that's what's going on.
But at 1 a.m., almost 20 minutes after the shooting, the police still don't know Taylor is critically injured inside.
There's somebody in there dead? Yeah, my girlfriend. It's her house. We have to go in if there's somebody. Yeah. What is this about? My girlfriend is dead. Keep walking.
As Walker is being led out, SWAT gets ready to secure the apartment.
Hey, there's a kid upstairs. He's not. It's a kid upstairs, little kid. What the? Hey, front door. Yeah. Moving. Short. Clear. Looks like clear. Go ahead and get EMS in here. We'll check her pulse.
Only now, half an hour after the raid began, does an EMT finally check Taylor.
Yeah, there's a hole right there.
And later, as two officers stand guard, they take in the scene. They see Taylor's uniform. She worked as an emergency room technician in city hospitals. They note the bullet holes.
Body level. Hey, can anybody advise if we talk to the neighbors directly about this apartment? There's gunshot holes in the ceiling.
Outside, the SWAT officers debrief on what they've seen.
Hey, camera's off there, Mike.
Yeah, mine's off. This is the fucking one that said it is today.
Y'all also know that the narcotics union, none of them had their cameras on. I might have to pull that other video back out. Hold on. Now, for some reason, if this video if YouTube cut the stream, I'm gonna cut YouTube off and keep going to Rumble. I'm letting you know ahead of time, cause I just thought about it. They could if this video was copyrighted by the New York Times, YouTube will shut it off. But what I'll do is I'll end the live on YouTube and go straight to Rumble.
The SWAT commander who was called to Taylor's home after the raid was later interviewed by investigators.
We just got the feeling that night that something really bad happened.
Dale Massey, a 20-year police veteran, was highly critical of what unfolded. He said there was no coordination with SWAT.
We had no idea they were going to be at that apartment that night. I would have advised them 100% not to do it.
And that executing another warrant at the same time may have compromised Taylor's safety.
Ask yourself, why doesn't other police know that you finna do a raid? And why ain't you got no body cameras? Huh? See, when I was doing crime, I didn't want no cameras around catching me doing my dirt.
Safety, very important, right? So like simultaneous warrants, bad business.
Narcotics officers testified that they didn't know Taylor had a new boyfriend, that her sister lived there, or that her 2-year-old goddaughter regularly stayed. Massey said the department had a history of poor intelligence gathering.
Back in the day, we would take a lot of detective information and take it as golden. Not anymore, because so often there's no kids, there's no dogs, we're told, there's kids and dogs. So we have an exhaustive recon process that we go through.
He said standing in the doorway, the fatal funnel, as Mattingly and Cosgrove had, was a tactical mistake.
Is it practical or is it even common for 3 people to be in what we consider the fatal funnel?
Absolutely not. No. You would never put, yourself in that situation.
And that there's a right way and a wrong way to conduct a raid. You knock, announce, and give people ample time to leave.
We're not going to rush in to get dope. We're not going to treat human life's more important than any amount of dope, right?
And just to be clear, no drugs were ever found at Taylor's. His harshest criticism was of Hankinson's blind shots into the apartment.
You have to know, A, what you're shooting at, B, what's in front of it, and B, what's behind it. There's no other way you can operate. It was just an egregious act.
Under Kentucky law, Kenneth Walker had a right to stand his ground against what he believed was an aggressor, and the police in turn have a right to self-defense. But in this analysis, the killing of Breonna Taylor resulted from poor planning, compounded by reckless execution. Louisville has instituted police reforms, and Taylor's family received a substantial settlement. But the case isn't closed. Investigations and lawsuits are ongoing, And 9 months after Taylor was killed, her family is seeking a fresh inquiry into the officers involved.
All right. Yeah, fair use up in this piece. Even though they ignore, they YouTube, you do what they do. No, nothing they do surprise me. All right, let me see. Now, y'all see what this said. 17 months before Breonna Taylor, they did this a raid. The other video I done where I brought this up and I couldn't find. This is the video I was talking about that I couldn't find. Y'all remember I was talking about a video? This is it. All right. These folks are heathens.
Got a stairway. Bang in. Police! Police, search warrant! Hey, let me see your hands. You got that? Come to the sound of my face. Well done. Who's coming out? Slow down. Just come out to the sound of my voice. Come to me. Hey, don't move, okay? Here, come on out this way. Come out this way. Come out this way. Hands up. Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Now, what? See, they ain't announced who they were. Who any robber can say, "Get on the ground." Who is you? Come on, get on the ground. Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you here? Come on, get on the ground.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
One female at the back. You have anything on you or anything I need to know about? No. No guns, nothing. Come over here, right over here. No guns or nothing that's gonna hurt me. How old are you? 14. 14? I'm gonna look and make sure you have no guns, okay? Nothing that's gonna hurt me.
I heard like a couple bangs. First, I thought it was probably like a door or something. I was running and yelling, stop. I hear like right there, like there's like a steep. So I right there, next thing you know, I just see like a whole bunch of people pointing their assault rifles at me straight to my head. The first thing that happened went to my mind. What happened? The first thing that came to my mind. My dad got shot.
Do you see law enforcement the same way that you used to before that?
No. And that's that family held at gunpoint. No reason. False accusations. It's wrong. We was kids. We shouldn't have to go through that. Especially if we didn't deserve it. You know, the first night we got back to this house, I had to sleep in my parents' room. I couldn't even be in my room by myself. Like nothing. I was up all night. If I heard the smallest thing, I would think something's out there. Still to this day, if I hear somebody a door shut, hard. I'll come down here and see what it is.
We live this stuff every day. It's like, man, our kids, man, they'll never forget about this stuff. And it's like, it just hurt because we good people, you know, we never been a part of the problem.
Y'all hear that, black man? They don't care. That's why somebody got to let them know. Talking about we ain't never been part of the problem. They don't care. These folks, see, he don't know what kind of he think he all right because he not breaking the law. The lawbreakers just bust up in the house. The murderers just bust up in the house. The murderers is covered under the satanic beast system. Somebody got to educate our people. We perish for a lack of knowledge. Listen to him. Listen to him. It's some reasoning with these devils.
Well, we never been a part of the problem. We good people, you know. We never been a part of the problem.
Okay, that's the video. Okay, hold on. Let me close this out. I just showed y'all that. I don't want to show y'all that again. These same police is hemmed up in rape charges. Rape charges. Hold on. Can I find a video? Right here. Look, this is the same police department. Louisville police. They got sex stuff going on. The usual suspects. Now I'm gonna try to. You have to really watch this video yourself. It got so disgusting. I couldn't even watch it all. It got so disgusting. Let me see. Can I run through it? Let me see. I'm gonna let some of it play.
Louisville Metro Police Department Public Integrity Unit.
Now, if it cut off, I'm gonna end the YouTube live stream and y'all go right on over to Rumble. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat.
Official statement, case number.
This interview is being conducted at the Public Integrity Unit office.
Are you giving this interview of your own free will?
Yes.
Well, and we were pulled over and got out of the car and we were separated.
I had some possession of hypodermic needle charges.
I told him that I was on parole and I could afford a charge.
And he said, well, give me your number so I can work with you.
He's like, I'll call you later tonight and we'll discuss your charges.
You're going to have to come down here and fill out paperwork.
I filled out the paperwork. He took pictures of me, like made me turn around.
Within probably 10 minutes of the text conversation, it went to just different sexual comments.
We'll have sex in my truck and I'll make these charges go away.
He sent me a picture.
What was that picture of?
His genitalia.
His penis?
Yeah.
How many times do you think you had warrants and he let you go without locking you up?
He's never let me go without giving him head.
Why did you continue texting with him when he's texting all this?
Yeah, y'all got any kids around? Y'all might want to get them out the room. I'm sorry. I forgot. Okay. You see what they're talking about. Anyway, the same police. Matter of fact, I'm going to just end this. I'll try to keep my video where children can. I'm going to put the link in the chat. I'm going to try to keep my video where I know I'm passionate or whatever, but no, I got my limits. All right. Let me drop the link in the chat. Y'all check this out later. I couldn't watch it all. I got so tired of them. I got tired of them talking about the depravity, these rapists. That go to the link right there. All right. Let me go. Let me show something else. Something else I had. Something else. Let me see here. Oh yeah, I got one more video. Let me see, can I find this? Showing y'all remember the other video I done about the police stealing the money? Let me see right here.
When they're supposed to get search.
Let me see here. 6 minutes.
With little or no information and underreporting what they seize in the process.
Jill, hop out here real quick, bud. Can you give her my money in my pocket though? Man, I just cashed my check. Before we did that, I would say yes, but our policy states you cannot transfer money from one person to another after being arrested.
Police departments like Louisville's seize money and drugs legally all the time. It's called asset forfeiture, and many law enforcement agencies rely on it to fund their own departments. The practice took hold in the 1980s as part of a sweeping legislative action in the so-called war on drugs.
The Comprehensive Crime Control Act is the only real chance at doing something constructive about criminal law reform.
One reform would widen the powers of federal prosecutors to go after mobsters and drug traffickers by seizing their profits. It could be a knockout blow against the drug syndicates that are poisoning our country. Why should any right-minded person oppose this?
For the first time, local police departments were allowed to take a cut of any assets seized under federal law. States swooped in and followed with their own asset forfeiture laws. Over the past decade,
For those of you who hadn't realized it yet, some of y'all are aware that the United States fund militia groups, rogue militia groups abroad, like in Africa and South America. Back in the 80s, with all the cocaine coming along, it was the Contras. Now, this is a domestic way of funding the police. This is a domestic way of funding domestic terrorism. You said why? Because there's no accountability for the cash that they're seizing. They don't have to take pictures. They don't have to show evidence of exactly how much they collect. This is how they are funding their domestic terrorists.
decade, LMPD has seized at least $31 million. The county has kept about $8 million of that, split between the police department and the prosecutor's office.
Now, who's getting the rest of this money then? If the Louisville Police Department seized $31.5 million, the police department got $6 million, and then $1.2 million to the prosecutor. Where the rest of the money go then? Where is that at? Who's getting this? And what are they doing with it? Is they buying these military gear that they use to further kill our people with, the tanks? Huh? Imagine that. 31 million. And they ain't got to account for it. Where's the IRS at? Where's the IRS when you need them? Huh? Where the Just Us department at when you need them? Biden worried about somebody with $600 in their bank account. Why ain't he worried about this? When Biden talking about they trying to see how much money you got in your bank? Why? You didn't work to get this money. Why you want to stick your nose in my business? Stick your nose over here in these police departments. Biden.
Criminologist Peter Kraska has been monitoring departments' increasing reliance on asset forfeiture and the aggressive policing that comes with it.
The police are now incentivized to go in and proactively extract cash from those communities.
In other words, you get a police over here. Let's just say you get a police on drugs, or you get a police behind in his mortgage, or you get a police, that old child support. You get a police in debt. What is they gonna do? They're gonna go out here. They can go out here and get money, and nobody hold them accountable. There's no checks and balances.
LMPD has seized at least $31 million. The county has kept about $8 million of that, split between the police department and the prosecutor's office. Criminologist Peter Kraska has been monitoring departments' increasing reliance on asset forfeiture and the aggressive policing that comes with it.
The police are now incentivized to go in and proactively extract cash from those communities. And that just builds in an element of abuse and potential corruption.
VIPER, it stands for Violent Incident Prevention, Enforcement, and Response. For 3 years now, the LMPD Special Unit has racked up arrests, cracked down on guns and drugs.
Specialized units have become the front lines of police crime control efforts. Members typically don't wear uniforms and drive unmarked cars.
Police chiefs and administrators have been told for 35 years, go out and do proactive policing. And so
now, some people see cash and they assume that's drug dealer. Some of y'all, if y'all smart, y'all start taking some of y'all, start hiding y'all money. Y'all want to do like they did in Russia. They couldn't get their money out the bank in Russia. What I'm saying is, just because you see cash doesn't mean it's drug money. There's no law against having a certain amount of cash out. If it's your money, why can't you keep it where you want to? Why they got to tell you where your money should be if it's yours? Going through all it, I just want y'all to start thinking. Because if the bank shut down, you're going to have some cash on hand. They're going to start trying to limit how much you can get out. This is your money now. The same thing they did in Russia. The Russian folks couldn't get their own money out of the bank. So you might want to figure out something. Pray to the Most High, ask for wisdom. And if you put it in a safe, make sure that safe is fireproof. All right? Well, your house burned down, your money don't burn up with it. All right? That's what it is.
And administrators have been told for 35 years, go out and do proactive policing. And so these teams begin to be looked at as the elite crime fighting units. Having that status gives them a lot more latitude in the department to do what they need to do to effectively fight crime. And that's a really seductive message in policing.
The idea is to be fast, flexible, and be in a position that we can do what we need to do to make Louisville safer.
These specialized units have been lauded all across the country, but they've also been the source of frequent scandals.
If you look at the history of elite drug control units, they more often than not devolve into some form of mild or serious corruption.
Are these specific?
In case y'all didn't catch that, the history of drug task force in the police department, they more often than not get into illegal behavior, criminal activity. So what's the point of having them then? That's what he just said, family. The history of undercover narcotics units, more often than not, get into illegal activity. And ain't nobody's watching them and holding them accountable.
Departments or regions, or is this something that you see?
If you look at the history of elite drug control units, they more often than not devolve into some form of mild or serious corruption.
Are these specific to certain police departments or regions, or is this something that you see anywhere that these units are employed?
This is absolutely widespread.
Back. Stop.
At LMPD, specialized drug units have been responsible for executing most search warrants on homes. How hard is it in practice to get a search warrant?
Theoretically and technically, it should be a tough process. Pragmatically and practically in the field, it's devolved into just a bureaucratic routine.
A review of thousands of LMPD search warrants carried out between 2017 and 2020 uncovered a widespread use of boilerplate affidavits, which regularly cite little more than a tip from a confidential informant.
It's common practice to allow for knock-and-announce search warrants on very thin evidence, and that technically should be a violation of the Fourth Amendment. It's rarely looked at in that sort of way.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Detective Richard Weedo.
Brian Bailey.
Court depositions and internal investigations obtained by Vice News give a glimpse into the latitude these units are given.
Okay, and in what position are you?
Narcotics detective.
CID, Criminal Interdiction Unit. Yeah. Well, that's narcotics. That was the new name of narcotics.
Does anyone in your unit wear body
Let
camera?
me fast forward. He don't even know what department he in. I'm gonna go to 12 minutes. Start right here.
There's no real oversight when officers seize money on scene. Louisville's policy is that officers don't count the money at all. It's put in a bag and handed into the property room.
Y'all see that? I just want y'all to see that. In most cases, money will not be counted at the time of seizure. If an officer needs to count the currency before the seizure, he or she may do so. However, the amount will not be recorded on any official department form. In other words, you got loose
Where it
cash.
sometimes isn't.
You got loose cash running around that they can steal. That's what they're saying, family.
Or taking somebody's cash.
There's no real oversight.
Why don't they have to prove that their cash is drug money? Think about it, family. You taking somebody's money, why can't you prove without a shadow of a doubt in a court of law that that's illegal money? Why you ain't got to prove that? Why has it got to be I'm white and I say so? You don't have to prove that the money is illegal. You don't have to keep up with the money. Y'all see how this works? You don't have to report the money. You don't have to have video of you getting the money. You don't have to have video of who you got the money from. All this is how they is funding the domestic terrorists called the police. This is how the government doing. You say, how they doing? They're not punishing them. They're not held accountable. It's not a paper trail. If it's not a paper trail, where's the evidence at? You don't have no cameras. What you gonna believe? The word of somebody they arrested? Huh? Think about it, family.
When officers seize money on scene. Louisville's policy is that officers don't count the money at all. It's put in a bag and handed into the property room, where it sometimes isn't counted until days later.
It makes no sense from a point of view of police accountability. Why did that come about? Who didn't want that money to be counted on scene and have several people video document what was happening?
Sources inside the police department told us this policy came about after several instances where the money that made it back to the property room didn't match what was counted on scene.
If you feel infallible, then if you run into, let's say, $10,000 cash, it's a really slippery slope to get to a point where you say, so what if we turn in 8? It's a drug dealer's word against ours.
Over the course of our reporting, we spoke to roughly 24 people who told us that police seized more money than they turned into the property room.
They took my money and said that I can't get it back.
It was just a bunch of money saved up in a jug, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500.
They said that they took only $566.
No, they didn't. I didn't get to see what it is. I know it was $500.
Here it says on the inventory form that they took U.S. currency, but then it's crossed out and it says currency was returned to owner.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Were you aware that they didn't list taking any money from you?
First time I've heard that. I wasn't aware of that.
Does that surprise you?
I mean, that surprised me to them.
In some of these instances, officers reported less money than was allegedly seized. But in most, no money was reported at all, which is surprising given the broad discretion officers have to take any cash they think might be connected to drugs. When we reviewed all unsealed narcotic search.
Notice, he said any cash that they think might be connected to drugs. They ain't got to prove nothing. They ain't got to prove nothing. That's the question I asked earlier. I'm going to cut it off. I'll put the link in the chat.
In some of these instances, officers reported less money than was allegedly seized. But in most, no money was reported at all, which is surprising given the broad discretion officers have to take any cash they think might be connected to drugs. When we reviewed all unsealed narcotic search warrants over a 4-year period, we found that at LMPD, officers reported finding no money 2/3 of the time.
So you should find something. You see that? How you gonna have a drug bust and ain't no money there? Not a dollar, not a dime, not a pence, nothing. But anyway, family, y'all see the title up here. Money and drugs keep going missing after Louisville police raid. Yet you don't hear nothing about this. Let me see here. I'm gonna close this out. I just showed enough. I'm gonna put this link in the chat for y'all. All right, that's about all I got. Let me make sure I put the link in the chat. Okay, and then they also stole money from one brother in there. Like, man, they hit him for a huge lick. But yeah. Yeah. I think that's all I got, fam. Love y'all. Y'all just see. I just want y'all to see these folks, and the Justice Department is no better. Look, let me see what this is. Let me share my screen. Let me see what this is. Let me see what this is. Hold on. Louisville police head. 738 records showing sexual abuse by officers. Now, I just happened to look through, glance back through. Why? They need to close this whole police department down. They need to close this whole. See, the feds, that's how you know that all of ain't nothing but a sham. The Justice Department lies. The FBI lies. The CIA lies. The United States lies. The school system lies. The religious sector lies. Kwame Yasharala, rise Israel. That's right. Kwame Yasharala, rise Israel. That's right. But yeah, I just happened to glance back through there and saw this. Look at all this. Over 500,000 records showing sexual abuse by the police. But you ain't gonna hear this. They'll try to go scoop up some dirt on Kenneth Walker and what's the other brother name? And Sister Brianna. They'll try to dig up some dirt on her and bypass all the mountain of evidence right here. See. Let me look at Atiana Jefferson right quick. I keep thinking about it, and I found. Let me see. She at her house minding her own business. Minding her own. See, this could be anybody. This could be anybody. You at home minding your own business. And here they come, shooting through the window. See? And Breonna Taylor, the cop shot through he couldn't see nothing. He just shot blindly in the apartment. And only caught a case because his bullets went into some white folks' apartment. They shot inside her house. Didn't announce themselves. See, can I find a video? He didn't announce himself. These devils go have to start getting some lumps and bruises or even die. They're going to start announcing themselves. Let me see. Is this the video? Let me see if this the video. Yeah, this might be the video. Look. He looking in and ain't saying nothing. Just look. Now, keep this in context. If I'm walking outside your house and I'm peeping in your windows, now if y'all, depending on where you at, you can't just shoot outside the door, outside the window, but just think about that. That's illegal for me to walk up in your yard and peep in your house. I'd go to jail for that. That's illegal.
Front doors have been open since 10 o'clock. I haven't seen anybody moving around. It's not normal for them to have both of the doors open this time of night.
You know if anyone is inside?
I'm not sure. Both of the cars are there.
Are they usually home at this time?
They're usually home, but they never had both of the front doors open.
Black folks, stop this. You the neighbor. Why do you go over there and knock on her door? You that concerned? All right. The two black parents in Georgia just called the police. No, she didn't call the police. She called for she called the paramedics for their daughter because she was having a mental episode and the police killed her. She fell out the car. Stop calling them folks.
Put your hands up. Show me your hands.
Now, he said, put your hands up. Who is you? I don't know who you are. You trying to rob me? What you trying to do? What's wrong with saying you the police? I think this is playing. It ain't in nobody's policy to announce that you are the police. Back in the day, they used to announce who they were. Now they don't say nothing and they're just talking about shooting. And you see how the media do that? They show a gun in the house. So what? It's not illegal. That's Texas. So I want to tell y'all, we don't have a media. We don't have a police department. We don't have an army. We don't have a navy. We don't have an Air Force. We don't need all that. We just need the Most High and His word. And we still here. They got all this heavy firepower and we still here. But anyway, soon as he said something, he shot. Y'all remember this, but let me let y'all go. This video long enough. It's long enough. I just want y'all to see this stuff. They operating below the law. Below the law. All right. Anybody feel like coming up, speaking their mind? If not, I got a little bit more work I need to do for the Shabbat. All right. Shalom, family.
I've been trying to hear about it. So I breathe with this
Apparently the cold weather is setting in, and that means more people will be indoors and there is more chance of coronavirus to spread. And in recent days, we now know from the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington.
More than 30% of Americans have not made their full housing payments for July, including 19% who made no housing payments at all.
Now to the wildfires raging in the West, which have killed at least 33 people, with dozens of others missing and tens of thousands more forced to flee their homes in California, Oregon, and Washington.
Australia is on fire.
The coronavirus has claimed a Ukrainian passenger plane.
Violent clashes between Hindus and Muslims.
The economy is facing its biggest crisis.
A Pakistan international airline.
Worst plague of locusts.
2 weeks after George Floyd was India's disputed border.
Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry, cry, so cry, cry. I can hear the cry from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry, cry, so cry, cry. I can see the end in sight. The light at the end of the tunnel is shining bright. He has not forsaken us. Do you see the bow in the sky? He remembers his covenant. He's coming back for his bride. So prepare your heart. Let your light shine bright. Don't let your lamp run out at a war. Sow some seed deep down and console. I know sometimes it gets hard. When it's going good, then it falls apart. No matter what, you need to keep the faith. You must endure, you gotta finish the race. I can hear the cries from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry, cry, so cry, cry. I can hear the cry from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? So cry, cry, so cry, cry. Judgment is here, the world is on fire, fire. Stay out the way, stay out the way. Choose whom you'll serve today. Yahuwah, he's got our enemies confounded and pounded. They fighting one each other. With his blood, Yahushua be your cover. You gotta have a cover. So prepare your heart. Let your light shine bright. Let your lamp run out at a bar. No way. Everybody has a purpose. Sometimes it gets hard. It gets hard. When it's going good, then it falls apart. It falls apart. No matter what, you need to keep the faith. You must endure, you gotta finish the race. I can hear the cries from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, the cry from captivity. Shackles round my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? Yeah. So cry, cry, yeah. Cry, cry. I can hear the cries from captivity. Shackles from my neck, around my arms, down to my feet. Yeah. Can you hear the wailing women facing defeat? Yeah. Don't be ashamed to cry. Cry the hour. I can hear the cries. 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 I can hear the cries.